Hey everybody, this is Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. Basically, this is a live recording where I cover the local news. And right now, for the first few minutes, I'm sharing it while we build up the audience. So I'm going to send it out to my other channels just so that we let everybody know basically what's going on. I cover all the local news. It is interactive. If you want to ask any questions, just type it out up there. When I see it, I'll answer it. If I know the answer. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you, or I may just ignore you. If you want to say hi, some people just pop on there and say, hey, Frank, what's going on? That's fine too. So we cover everything that's local in Sarasota County. We go until I'm done, and then we call it a day. And I'm just sharing my last one, and there we go. Okay. So we got Edie in the house. Hey, here we go. Death investigation. We ended yesterday's live show and saying, oh, no, there's a death out at Lido Key. No new information. I did share it. They just found a gentleman parked in his car out there, and he was deceased. Sarasota police have not put out any new information to share with that. Right now, all the media guys out there with the local MSM, and they're at the trial for Frank Beebe, and that continues, where a lot of concern was that the person that was accusing him, she's an elderly lady. Many of you probably saw her picture yesterday. She's 79 years old. I remember when Beebe was first arrested, there was concern that this lady was a little unstable mentally, and others, that's one of the points that they're making today, is that she's very stable. She knows what she was saying. There's 18 counts against Beebe, and from what I've been seeing with the reporters, what they like tweet out constantly, and it appears as though it's not going that great for Beebe right now. Let's see. Hurricane wiped out 70% of the orange crop. Orange crop, big in Florida, huge in Florida. So we're probably going to see some increased pricing, and that was the whole idea behind putting that story out. If you're an orange juice drinker like my wife and daughters are, we're going to be paying more out for that product. Then I shared this flesh eating. I talked briefly about it yesterday, and if you're just joining, it's a live interactive. You can make any commentary on the right there, and I'll try to answer anything, or you can just say, hey, go get it lost. Flesh eating, you know, what brought this to my mind, this was over with Harvey. And the impression I get, the first thought I get is when I went down to Mayaca, and I remember driving my Jeep. I had a big lift, so I was driving through these floodwaters, and a family was walking by me with their two kids in a canoe, and they were trudging through this flood water. And I remember thinking, God, that dirty water, you know, open sores. I could tell you, in the Gulf, our Gulfs are pretty polluted. I'm going to cover something in a second here. I surf a lot. One time I got cut with a fin. Guy dropped in right on me. They got me out of the water immediately. $10,000 later, it's infected. I went to Venice Hospital. I don't think they did the right stuff with the wrapping net, but that's a whole other story. But it's happened twice. And if you have just a minor open cut there, and you could get this flesh-eating bacteria. So I put that out because again, just thinking of those people over there in Mayaca, you may think, well, who's here in floodwater? They had to get in floodwater just to go from their house to a dry point where they would park their car, if nobody saw that video. Puerto Rico, on my national page, the Uncensored report, if you Facebook it, I've been putting out a lot of stuff about Puerto Rico, and I did share this one on this one because Agape, I always pronounce it wrong. They're flying stuff over to Puerto Rico, but it's really getting dire there. One of the biggest concerns, I posted a story today, is just the medical issue that's over there. I posted another story where they're starting to run out of drinking water. I do have a friend that has a condo there. I've been there surfing, and it wasn't the outskirts could be pretty hazardous, especially in San Juan, but I guess it's gotten even worse with the electricity out, the water situation. It's just really bad there. And what we need to keep in mind is they're American citizens. Just like everyone came to help the people in Texas with Harvey, they came to help us in Florida with Irma. We need to help these people in Puerto Rico, which are probably worse off than any of us, Texas or Florida, were. Veteran healthcare, this is always a hot issue with me. And this was an interesting story. You can Google it. You can go to my website. I say this every show, Facebook, it's hard to find stories. There's so many out there. If you go to the uncensoredreport.com, the search box at the top right, you can type in any of these keywords and it'll pull up this story. But this is veteran healthcare, and it talked about It was through WWSB, and they talked about how the concern and the issue with the limited amount of healthcare for veterans within the Suncoast, actually throughout the area. And it was interesting. You know, I didn't even realize here, they said a lot of people come down to the Sarasota location because they can get in quicker, but even then it's hard and they're not fully equipped to handle a lot of the issues that are out there. Let's see. The sex predator. I'm surprised this didn't get much more traction. How many people have seen this? Just over 2,000. This was something on the show. I think her name was Karen yesterday, shared with us about a therapist that's in Northport that actually goes out and tries to cure these sex offenders. And someone said, hey, maybe that's why there's so many in Northport. And on this article, what I did is I took what Karen had sent me, which talked about Facebook and this guy. I showed his dissertation where he basically goes in and, you know, he starts it off with this. The public's perception of adult male registered sex offenders has evolved primarily from media's misrepresentation of offenders and its overexposure of particularly heinous sex crimes with no factual basis. And basically, this guy is very supportive and feels sorry for the sex offenders. And obviously, anyone that knows me knows I don't agree with that, and I don't know what the hell this guy's thinking. And then you look at a lot of people are like, oh, they all come to Northport. You look at some of the percentages, and basically the ratio number of residents to the number of sex offenders compared to other cities in the area is for Northport 578 for every one sex offender. So there's one sex offender for every 578 residents. That's pretty high. Venice is 405, Inglewood's 437, Osprey 6,100. Well, they got a low population, but they must have a few sexual offenders there. Sorry if you live there. Let's see. Osprey's beautiful though. Let's see. Here it is. The water, the storm drains. It cracked me up that the city put this out about the storm drains into the Gulf, so help keep our waters clean. I'm surprised they put that out there because they deny it all the time. I remember saying something to Hulk, and Hulk tried telling me. This was funny. It was like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I'm like, no, I go, basically you got runoff, fertilizer, dog crap, all that stuff. And it's flowing through these huge white pipes. You've probably seen them on Venice Beach, the ICW, they're up in Sarasota too. And it all flows out into the waters, okay? Well, he tried telling me that, no, it goes from the street to some filtration system and then goes out to the Gulf. And I went up there and looked, and I'm like, what is this guy? Think I'm an idiot? You can't see that there's no filtration. It flows straight from the street to the Gulf, the pipe to the Gulf. But I'm surprised the city put that out there. Let's see. They try to hide what those white pipes are, obviously because tourism. They don't want people to know how badly, in fact, dirty our waters are. And again, you may not realize it. I go to the doctor. I remember when I sliced my foot, which was a different slice, which was $10,000 later infection. I think I sliced on a rock at the jetty. And I remember when I went into the doctor's, he's like, well, Jesus, he goes, yeah. He goes, you could stay in that Gulf maybe for 30 seconds and probably even less than that. And this thing's going to get infected. He said, so polluted, it's so dirty, and people just don't realize it. And you don't realize until you, like myself, you go down to South America and go surfing and you see this blue, clear water and you're like, oh my God. All right, let's see. Debris. Somebody put out an email about Northport basically saying they failed us on the debris. It does suck. I've talked about the debris, but I was at the gym this morning and I was talking to someone and I was noting Harvey. Last night, Harvey, these people have this, I mean, it goes beyond just your bushes and your trees that are fallen. They have their homes, pieces of houses, everything in their front yard just piled everywhere. And I started thinking, wow, we're complaining about a couple of trees or bushes in our yard. And what's really bad about this is the people said the garbage truck will only collect it if it's like 10 feet from the street. And he's like, so they take that and then we're supposed to move everything there. He's like, he's shown this pile that's probably a ton of weight. I don't know how many pounds. And he's like, how the heck am I supposed to move this pile closer to the street? So just keep that in mind. Even though we have challenges and it's annoying seeing that I see a chair out in front of my house and some bushes, you got to look at the bright side and say, at least we're not in Puerto Rico with no electric, no water. You can't even drive the streets. You have medical conditions. Or we're not in Texas where they have this huge, beyond debris, beyond bushes piled up everywhere, and issues getting that picked up. All right, let's see. Coyote. Wow, that's getting a lot of traction there, huh? The 7,000 people. Coyote over there on Lockwood Ridge. There's been a disappearance of cats, and they've seen coyotes. 1 and 1 equals 2. Yeah, obviously they're here. Obviously they're coming out more and more into the public's eye because what? We're developing. We're taking over their territory. So, and I'm sure the guys are hungry. So bottom line, lock up your cats. Keep them in the house. Don't let them roam. Same with the dogs. I remember one time a guy I know, he said his dog, a little frou-frou dog like one of mine. Oh, they're not hanging out here today. And he said he was out walking, 2 of them, and out of nowhere, a coyote came up, grabbed it, pulled it from the leash, and went running off. Never saw that dog again. That was in South Venice. Let's see what else we got here. The banned book. Somebody else put out something. Harry Potter banned. What do you think about that? You know, it's funny, too. Harry Potter, the series, the movie series, plays every Christmas. I still haven't figured out what it has to do with Christmas. But I don't know if you guys ever watch those Christmas things. What channel is it? They changed their name. But they play Christmas movies for 28 days. Harry Potter's on there. And I can't figure that out. But it is a banned book. Harry Potter is banned in Sarasota County libraries. And they're trying to bring more attention. We covered all that yesterday. Gators. Probably got a lot of jokes on that. I haven't read it. Almost 6,000 people. Gator sighting at the World Championships. You know what's funny? Not funny, but this guy did a report because Benderson pulled out all the signs warning of gators. Now, some people might say, well, it's water, it's Florida. You know gators are in there. But not necessarily true. There's a lot of ignorance out there. And he just wrote about a month before this saying, hey, look, maybe you guys need to put the gator signs back up. I've been seeing gators everywhere. You got people that are running there. You got kids walking. If you ever go down there by that Benderson Park, families just go around the track. It's beautiful there. You walk around and stuff. And a lot of people may not be aware that there are gators there. Should we? Yeah, but. And so I guess a few people from, they had some girl on that particular interview from the Netherlands saying, oh, I saw a gator. Free fish. I've been contacted before for this. I don't know if there's getting a lot of traction, over 1,000 people, but they have these fish that they're giving away that help combat mosquitoes. And I'm saying that because I know we're going to see an uptick with all the standing water. I was driving home from surfing in Daytona on Tuesday, I think it was. And I remember in between this last Sarasota exit and the first Venice exit, you got that median there. And you always look to see where the FHP is because they're always hiding out there. And I remember just puddles. You could see standing water everywhere. And then I saw this story yesterday about up just north of Tampa. I think it was around Hernando. They caught 26, I think they said 1,000 mosquitoes. I can't remember the name, but it was an outrageous amount of mosquitoes. Bottom line is they're going to start flourishing. There's standing water everywhere. And, you know, I didn't send anything out. On Monday, Sarasota said it's under control. We don't see any real issue with the standing water, so we're not doing any flights. I think they did 3 flights at Irma. Yesterday, they didn't post anything. So, we got unlicensed contracting is a felony, Sarasota County. They must be having more issues with that. All right, so let's, I'll send that out later. What else we got here? City of Sarasota talking about storm debris and saying, look, we're going neighborhood to neighborhood, trying to tell you what to do to make the pickup easier. I finally found, you know, I emailed the city of Venice yesterday, the city clerk. She came back and said, well, we're hoping for more info on Monday. I thought, well, you don't know how the debris pickup is going in the city? Then I was going through their email and I saw where Councilman Daniels got the answer. And basically he said, oh, we're taking care of the island and then we're going to start working the rest of the city. The island should be done at the end of this week. Now, call me crazy, but when you see that a category 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is coming, you know you're going to get some horrific weather. Shouldn't you have been planning to get some contractors here to and have them ready to go so that once the storm passed, they'd be able to get to work and picking up that debris? So now you got people, and again, I shouldn't be complaining after I just talked about Harvey and everything. So now you got people like myself that have debris. It's going to be out there, 3-4 weeks. And with that, I showed the one video where you get rats, snakes, bugs. Funny, my wife was out here, and I could see her outside my window. She's doing her carpet, cleaning it. And I guess there's a bunch of wasps in her fence in a little hole, and she hit that, and they came flying, swarming everywhere. She got bit like 3 times. It's not that funny though, is it? All right, so let's see. The next one is Wawa coffee day tomorrow. I don't know if anybody else is doing this, but I know Wawa is giving away free coffee. Beverly, that's just the way I talk. People always do that. Like, do you know I say wash instead of wash? Now I know there's not an R there, but it's the way I talk. Someone said it's from being up north, and I like saying debris. There you go, Bev. All right, Wawa free coffee tomorrow. Forgotten the island. What else we got here? Northport approves the West Villages Town Center. That's going to be one heck of a setup down there, guys. It's going to be a lot like Lakewood Ranch. Plus, you're going to have the Braves, training facility right there. And I tell you what, you're not even going to recognize Northport in 10 years. You're not even going to recognize them. But again, the headache on River Road. They start playing on February 2019. They're starting to build all those houses, 40,000 out there at Westfield Village. But no planning for River Road. No planning for 41. Gotta love those politicians. Okay, let's see. County recruiting teams for volunteers. They found out that, hey, we can't just have a disaster and have a bunch of volunteers come in because it's not organized. There's no structure to it. So this is one of the things they've learned from, and they're bringing that all into play. The medical facilities, I did a report on this. A dispensary, Northport's one vote away from agreeing to do it. You know what? Bravo to those guys. I'm for medical marijuana. And I tell you what, they're going to make a kick-butt revenue. And as a business owner, I'd be thinking of the revenue I'm going to make being one of the only medical dispensaries from Tampa down to wherever. I don't even, St. Pete now. Bradenton. We just opened Bradenton's. I don't know how far south is the next one. And it's like, and you look at these, you got City of Venice saying, oh, God, the statutes, state statutes, and they're too cumbersome. It was more of a morality issue, I think, with them. The one guy that was on Big Pharma, and it's like, do you guys not see, A, the benefit of medical marijuana, B, the amount of revenue that will bring into your pockets? These dispensaries are kicking butt, guys. But don't get me going on our politicians. Okay, what do we got here? I put up this Equifax thing. Not a lot of traction on it, but a lot of us, 143 million people were impacted. They were hacked. They told us that they were hacked once. So later found out they were hacked 5 months prior to that time that they told us about. Then it came out that they were hacked 2 months versus 1 month before they notified us. And then they're having issues getting it set up. They're supposed to offer 1 year free credit monitoring. So I contacted them, myself, my wife, and my daughter. We're part of the 143 million. And I signed up, but I never got the response email back. So I got to figure out what to do there. They said the best thing you can do is freeze your credit, but then you're screwed if you go out and you try to get a new car or some other type of credit. It's a pain in the butt. How about Local Ice and All Face Food Bank doing this free groceries to anyone in need? And I guess this local ice place does it a lot to the elderly. Great thing. If you guys, I would share that. Only 700 people. Now, I know there's got to be a lot of people in Sarasota County that need groceries that don't have a lot of money. With Irma, how many people were out of work for a week? And these are the people that need this type of help. The hostesses, the waitresses, the people making minimum wage out there. No work for a week. They got to use these groceries. So share it with them. Let them know. And you don't have to share for my page. Just click on the picture, save it, and print it up or give it to them. Run for the Turtles. And how about this story down in Northport? I think I was being facetious yesterday when I said, when they say that it's, how did they coin it? They said it was a suspicious death, but you don't need to be worried. And I always said, that sounds really strange. It's suspicious. There's something alarming about it, but you don't need to be worried. Ends up, maybe you should be worried. Now, I don't know why it's turned into a homicide where this young man was killed over there in Northport on Roxbury. They deduced this after a couple of days. I don't think they have any evidence of who did it or why it occurred. So if you have any information, there is an email and there is a contact number to contact the Northport PD and see if they can try to bring some justice to the family of this poor kid that was killed out there. That's a shame that that's kind of stuff is happening here. You know, I moved here from Detroit in 1982, and I lived out in originally we came to Pine Brook where I live now, and then after like a year we moved out to South Venice over on Mohegan. And I remember you could leave your windows open. There was hardly any crime, and it's amazing how much it has changed. But then, you know, I also remember I could skateboard down Venice Avenue, and after 5 o'clock, it was closed down. There were no cars anywhere. It was a totally different city back then than it is now. And I know everything changes, but I always like to reflect on that. Okay, any questions? Anything? You guys got anything for me? All right, if you could share this. In about 10 minutes, I'll put a link to this video for those non-Facebook users, and I usually will put it up right up here in the same posting. And I think that's it. Everybody have a great day. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with The Scoop.